Welcome to the Halftime Podcast, a 15-minute show where two panellists with opposing views must discuss why theirs is the best, and you get to decide the winner.
Hello, I'm Danny Cook, and welcome back to another episode of Halftime Cuppa's Halftime Podcast. Today I'm joined brilliantly, I'm blessed. No, scrap that. Today I'm blessed to be joined by two brilliant panelists, and we have one fantastic topic to discuss. Today's panelists, we have Ese Agboaye. Hello, Ese.
Hi, guys.
And joining Ese, we have Jake Thomas. Hello, Jake.
Hello.
Hello. How are you, chaps? You good?
Not bad, actually.
Not bad?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good. So at the time of recording, England have just played Nigeria. Or they played them yesterday, but just played Nigeria. Ese, give us your sort of snapshot thoughts on that. Do you think England are going to win the World Cup now?
Far too early to say. But first half was good. Second half, not so good. But there's always lots of positives to take.
Brilliant. And let's take a neutral fan's view on this one. Obviously, a Welsh fan, Jake. Give us your views.
A little bit underwhelmed, if I'm honest. Don't get me wrong. I know it's a win, but I think the way in which they sort of the first half and the second half is a complete contrast, and I think it's worrying to see their response after sort of going a goal down. I wasn't too impressed. Truth be told.
Okay.
But we're not qualified, so what does it matter? What does it matter I say?
Nevertheless, we thank you for your thoughts on that, because we're actually going to be talking about a subject related to the World Cup, and this is a topic that I know you two are very keen to discuss, hence why you're on today's show.
Absolutely.
I'm going to briefly say what it's about. So it's about Mastercard's goals for food PR campaign ahead of this year's World Cup. I'm going to ask one of these guys to explain it in a little bit more depth shortly. But don't forget to, of course, leave your views and comments in the comment section below, and of course, cast your vote in our poll. I'm sure it's going to be very unanimous in that one as well. So
let's hope so.
I
hope we don't have conflicted opinions on this, because it's not great.
Well, let's get straight into it then. Jake, do you want to explain what the actual campaign that Mastercard have sort of come up with?
So I believe it's along the lines of, for every goal scored by Messi or Neymar in the World Cup, they will donate 10,000 meals to starving children in, is it Latin America? I think it's Latin America. They said that they'd be targeting.
Is there anything else maybe that Jake's missed out, or has he hit all the points?
I wouldn't add anything to that so far.
Okay, cool. So Ese, then, why do you think? Obviously, this campaign has come under fire, and we'll come on to that shortly. But why do you think Mastercard have tried to run this campaign?
I'm just thinking to myself, like, didn't anyone at the boardroom meeting stick their hand up and say, "Hey, this might not be a good idea"? Did no one say that? Because that's what it looks like.
But what do you think the purpose of what were they trying to do? I mean, maybe we'll probably come on to this a little bit later on, but maybe it's a case of the right intentions just poorly executed.
Yeah, something along the lines of that. I see what they're trying to do, but I've just got the execution all wrong.
Jake, anything to add on to that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think looking at it from a different angle, I can see why they, sort of did it type thing. But it's phrased appallingly. It comes across as like, we can afford to do it, but we're only going to do it if they score. Like the kids only get to eat if Messi or Neymar scored. And I saw a comment from someone on Twitter as well saying like the goalkeepers are going to be responsible for kids not eating now.
Yeah, I mean,
it's awful.
That's not great ethically, is it? I mean, could you imagine being that goalkeeper?
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah. Could you imagine being that goalkeeper that stops?
You would want to concede goals so that kids can eat. You know, I've just stopped 20,000 kids from eating with my 2 saves.
Could it be an attempt to sort of force an Argentina-Brazil final, maybe?
No, I don't know. I think it was just stupidly thought through, to be honest.
So, why have they come under so much fire then? Let's hit that point. Why have they come under so much fire then, Jake?
I think it's such a basic sort of morally wrong topic. Like, it doesn't take a genius to know that this probably wasn't going to go down as well as they thought. So, like, it's sort of just a massive oversight to sort of run it in the first place. And it feels like a bit of an insult as well. I think that they've even suggested it as a good idea. That's how I feel anyway. It feels a little bit like, oh, people won't mind this.
Strong words there. Insult. Ese, how do you feel about that then? Do you feel that maybe, as Jake says, that them sort of proposing this is more of an insult?
Yeah, it is. I think support and like starving kids at risk like that, it's ridiculous.
It's made a competition out of feeding children. Like, surely they could just send Messi or Neymar to these areas, donate the food anyway. Get the kids involved in playing some games and stuff, and do a PR campaign about that. Not whether they're going to eat or not. It seems a bit sick and twisted, really.
But again, going back to why they've sort of done it, I guess. I mean, they are one of the World Cup partners, aren't they?
Yeah.
I would imagine there's a large share of what they do in terms of PR comes in line with the World Cup. So I can, to some extent, see why they targeted the World Cup and why they've maybe used
I
the
completely
competition.
I understand why they've used the competition. I just think they could have used it a lot better and less murderous.
So in that sense, then, what should they have done to have made it a bit more sort of? I was going to say family friendly, but it's not.
Make a bloody TV advert like Lidl did. I mean, you've seen it with Sterling, Carl Walker, and Gary Cahill engaging with those kids. Doing some training and stuff. Wherever. Don't say, "Oh well, if they score, we'll feed them."
Yeah, I mean, the way you phrased that as well, that's not great, is it?
It's terrible, isn't it? It's absolutely awful. But that's how it gets interpreted, and that's how people have interpreted it. Like that's the message that that they've sent out to me anyway. Whether, sort of people interpret it a different way, the majority of what I've seen has sort of been along the same lines as what the way I just put it across then. So they could, as PR, your job is to sort of get the right message across and portray the organisation in a good light. And that is not the right way to go about it. Whether kids are going to eat or not, depending on who scores at the World Cup, is not the way to go about it at all.
That's the other thing as well. You just said about the goalkeeper saving a penalty or saving a shot. What about if someone, I don't know, like someone gets the tap in or, literally nicks the goal off of Messi or Neymar? Oh, my word. The uproar.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. What if Messi gets like 10 assists in all competitions, in all games, all of a sudden everyone's having to go at him. Why didn't you score? You know, you had an easy chance and you decided to give it to, whoever. Do you not want to feed the kids?
You know what? Actually, it's a good thing that that campaign isn't sort of centered around Sterling, because you know the sun would be on him.
The sun would be on it like a rash.
Could you imagine every single game? Sterling doesn't score. Sterling
doesn't want the kids to eat. Sterling wants Latin American children to go hungry.
Oh dear.
Let's bring in Ese then. What could they have done to have made the campaign, I suppose, a bit more successful?
Honestly, there's any coming back from this. Even worse is that they haven't even apologized. Do you know something? I'm actually looking at the tweet right now. It's still there. They tweeted it out on May 31st. The date is now June 6th.
Third. Essays from the future.
I'm not sure back from that, but I don't think there is.
I mean, that's the thing, though. I did see. I've seen a lot of other media outlets report this as well. So it's getting the attention, but nothing's happened. So you kind of wonder what they're doing.
It's very strange. It is very strange. They've got the hashtags that start something priceless. What are they trying to achieve with that? I mean, I've got a tweet here. It says the campaign running is a small part of our global commitment to deliver 100 meals to those in need. Why don't you just sort of do it then, instead of having it dependent on whether Messi or Neymar score? Like, if that's the case, if you're actively doing it anyway, why are you making it a competition when the World Cup comes round where the kids will eat?
What about? So I was thinking, and I've seen someone else suggest this as well. Why not do? I know there's going to be a lot of goals, but why not do the whole, like, the total number of goals?
Yeah, for every goal scored, we'll donate X amount.
Yeah.
We're not donating any unless Messi or Neymar scores.
So in that sense, if that's right, I guess what you and I are kind of alluding to is that maybe it's wrong to select significant players, but like
I think it's the phrasing of it as well. I think is a big part. I mean, the factors in that are completely dependent on whether Messi or Neymar are successful. Like, they could both have terrible World Cup campaigns. At least if you group it all together and say that for every goal scored, we'll donate X amount. There's going to be goals scored, so it's assured. They could go the entire tournament without scoring. Like, it's unlikely, but there's a good possibility as well.
Now, I mean, if that was the case, I mean, surely they would have to come out and release some kind of statement to sort of say, we're going to give away this amount of meals or whatever.
Yeah, we've already seen their PR stunts. I mean, I wouldn't trust them to apologise for.
Keep going, Jake. Sorry.
I wouldn't expect them to come out with anything better as an apology, quite frankly. If this is their sort of shining idea.
Let's get Ese's views then. Ese, do you feel that maybe if it was inclusive of all players instead of selecting just two players, it would be a better campaign?
Yeah. I was just thinking that before you actually mentioned it. It'll be a much better campaign if they said, like, for every goal scored, we'll donate this amount out to the Caribbean and Latin America, rather than being dependent on two players. Like, come on.
I think even if it was the money, like as in if it like I mean I know it's Mastercard, so they probably can afford it, but if it was like a lower firm, like a smaller firm, and they done like every game that has 3+ goals in, we give this away. Like I feel like they're being for a sponsor of a competition, they're being way too selective on individuals rather than the actual competition. I feel that's the issue. They're focused on individuals and they should be focusing on a competition. Or it could be something like every hat trick scored by any player in the World Cup. We're going to donate this amount of meals or whatever. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Very quickly then, before we finish, how do you guys think that they can make up for this, and will it have any impact on Mastercard as a brand as a whole?
I think in future, I think celebrities will be a bit wary about Mastercard, as any awful PR stunt such as this often tends to have a lasting effect on the way people do PR stunts with fans. So I think they'd want to like think more carefully about how they do these things.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That may be an issue, definitely, I feel, anyway. Well, what's your thoughts, Jake?
Yeah, it's not great, is it? I mean, if I were looking to collaborate with someone, it probably wouldn't be Mastercard after this, just because I think I wouldn't want my own image to be twisted by poor choice of words, which is clearly what's happened. Because I get the idea behind the campaign, like you want to help children and you want to incorporate it with the World Cup, but the way it was phrased is just delivers an entirely different message.
Final question then. Will someone get fired for this, do you feel? I mean, we'll never know the answer, but do you think is this a one of those someone's getting sacked over this?
I don't think so. Truthfully, I don't think so. I think it would more be a case of if they bring out an apology, it will just be explaining what they tried to say in the first place.
Yeah. Okay.
Like a clarification rather than, someone's done this.
Yeah. And Ese, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, going back to what I said earlier, in future they should just like think more carefully about the way they do these things.
Okay. So I'm guessing both of you have kept this person in the job. If it's a genuine attempt,
but
if it's a genuine attempt, I think we'll make mistakes.
I don't think there was any malice in it. I think it was just poor choice of words.
But there's always a lesson to be learned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And hopefully they've learned from that. Anyway, as we heard probably about two minutes ago, because we've had a bit of an extended podcast. It was good. It was a good debate. No qualms on that. That was good. So yeah, the full-time whistle did go. Let us know your thoughts, of course, in the comments section below, as well as the poll. I'm very much predicting a one-sided poll on this one, but please get involved. I want to see the landslide on this. Be sure to obviously check out the various pieces of content we have across our site, as well as our football predictor at halftimecuppa.com. Make sure, by the time this podcast probably comes out, we've probably announced our World Cup predictor competition. So make sure you have a look on our site for that. We are planning to give away something. Details of that would be released a little bit closer to the time, so it should be out by now. Before we wrap up, let's give today's panelists, Jake, Thomas, and Ese Agboaye. I'm tripping up on my words. Ese Agboaye, sorry. A shout out and how we can follow you guys on social media. So how can we follow you, chaps?
So my handle is at A96OAY.
And you can follow me at JT1196.
And you can follow me at DaddyCook1996. Thank you very much, chaps. A really interesting debate there. I really appreciate your time, as always.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you, Danny.
Don't do that accent again. And thank you, SA, for coming on, of course, as normal.
Thank you for having me.
That. No worries at all. I've been your host, Danny Cook, and you've been listening to another episode of the Halftime Podcast. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.